Welcome to Duke's Handbook. This is where I read advice that people are asking for from Reddit advice, and I give my advice out of my personal life experiences. Let's just dive right in, shall we? My 23-year-old girlfriend doesn't like any food with garlic, onions, or anything spicy, and I, 20, female, don't know how to continue this anymore. Just off rip, dude. It's just a food preference. If they don't like it, it's not that big of a deal. This might be kind of shallow post to be making, but I need to talk about this somewhere. My girlfriend dislikes any food with garlic, garlic powder, garlic flavor, onions, red and white, onion powder, caramelized, you name it. And she can't handle any level of spice from her own admission. It's probably because she's a basic white girl. The relationship is very, very new still. And I honestly put her up on a pedestal until this point, and it sounds dumb, but I don't know how I can keep making this work. I love to cook, and I come from a culture where the food is extremely flavorful and uses all kinds of different spices, including obviously onions and garlic and spicy additions. Whereas she comes from a vastly different culture that is, for lack of a better terms, not known for using much seasoning. So she's a very picky eater. I'm assuming you're Hispanic and she's white AF. Um, Cooking is like a love language for me, and the idea of having to dumb down the recipes I love to share with others because her palate is honestly not something I'm willing to do. And it makes me super sad that this isn't an aspect of our relationship we can share. Not to mention, the concept of going on a date out in public with someone who will only order burgers, chicken tenders, and mac and cheese when we go out sounds extremely embarrassing to me. Now it sounds like you're just kind of being an a-hole. Am I being over dramatic and it's not that big of a deal? I feel like I'm being shallow because in all other aspects, she's exactly the person I've dreamt of being with for years. Is there maybe a way to start easing these things into her diet by cooking for her? I love her very much, but this is just so weird, man. I don't know. I've never dealt with this before. Um, and then they've got a TLDR, which, and like a couple of edits. He only posted this up 3 hours ago. Jeez. Too long didn't read. My girlfriend is an extremely picky eater, and I'm embarrassed of it. Any ways to remedy this? Edit. I forgot to add this initially, but she's been widely questioned throughout her life on whether or not she's autistic. If she is, and this is more of a safe food type thing, I'd be more accommodating, but she's not being diagnosed. Um, Thought this was important to add. Yeah, it's probably something super important to add. Edit 2, gonna sit down and really talk to her about potential ARFID, whatever that is, and how willing she is to exploring new things. This post was more of a vent than anything, and upon cooling off, I don't see it as a relationship ending, but definitely a big unfortunate change I'll need to make if she can, or if she can't or won't adapt her tastes. Additionally, some people asked why I'm judgmental regarding regular picky eaters versus feeling more sympathetic to people who are picky because of autism or ARFID or other conditions that can cause picky eating. More than anything, I realize I see picky eaters as childish and grew up in a family where we would often joke about people who only eat fries and chicken tenders no matter what. But that judgment doesn't extend to people who are autistic or have ARFID. I don't know what that is. IBS, GERD, etc. And I find myself a lot more sympathetic that way. Maybe that's wrong of me. Edit 3. Dang, what are you making an edit every hour? I'm Afro Latina and East Asian. Nailed it. Nailed it. I knew Latina. I knew it with the spicy foods. Dude, I'm from California. Latinas don't mess around with the spicy foods. And she is from the UK. White, nailed it. Dang, I'm good. Dang, I'm good. Nailed it. Nailed it. Yes, the UK does not use spices on anything. They think beans on toast is like the creme de la creme. Like, so like, come on. Shots fired. So anyway, honestly, I think it just comes to opening up the palate a little bit. It's because I used to be kind of picky, not being able to handle spice, but I also live by the idea that too much spice is hiding bad cooking. It's okay to have a little bit of heat and have that present, but if you do it with too much, like way too much spice, it's too much and you can't taste anything else. It just covers the flavor of everything. So having a little bit of heat is not bad, but having too much, it's just saying like I'm a crappy cook and I don't know what I'm doing. But no heat, no hate towards you or anything like that. But yeah, with people from the UK, you definitely have to ease them into the flavors of the United States. And I know you said Afro Latina and East Asian, but that's still like if you're here, ease them into the flavors of the United States because we are a big melting pot. We have a lot of different cultures here and a lot of different flavors. Maybe start with barbecue. A lot of UK fools go out for a really good barbecue joint for the first time and it like changes their whole world. If it is an autistic take, then you got to be a little bit more sympathetic to it. And at the end of the day, that's your choice to continue that relationship after the fact. I don't know what ARFID is. Is that what it was called? ARFID? Let me see if I can find that again. To be embarrassed is what I find kind of crazy. There's no reason to be embarrassed of somebody else's eating. Never be embarrassed of somebody else's eating. I actually had a boss that did not matter where we went. He ordered your most basic things. Excuse me. And like if we went to an Italian restaurant, it was like, oh, I'll just get lasagna. And it's like, okay, well, we're at an Italian restaurant, like a real Italian joint. For example, there was this one place, it was called Franco Trattoria out in California. I forgot what the town was called, but it was like LA. And it was just a small little Italian joint. And he was like, I'll just get lasagna. And the owner of the restaurant was like, I'll give you $20. You can go down the street to Olive Garden. I don't do lasagna here. And it was one of those joints that like changed the menu up every day. Like he would go to the market that day, get the stuff, and then come back and make the stuff. So it was really good, really, really good Italian food. But some people are, and that's just who he was. He was a super picky guy. I never really, I didn't like factor anything into it. So here we go. ARFID. What is ARFID? Avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. It's a serious eating disorder characterized by limiting the type or amount of food consumed, driven by sensory sensitivities, low appetite, or fear of aversive consequences like choking. Unlike anorexia, it is not motivated by body image distress. ARFID often causes significant weight loss, nutritional deficiencies, and social impairment. Okay, so now I know. But yeah, I think you just need to be a little bit more sensitive to it. Maybe she just doesn't like some people just garlic does not taste good. It's kind of like parsley. To some people, it tastes like soap. I don't understand that. It doesn't taste like soap to me, but nonetheless, I would just be a little bit more sensitive to it and don't be embarrassed. Don't ever be embarrassed of what she orders at restaurants. Just let her order what she wants at the restaurant, whatever. And if you're cooking for her, just kind of be mindful that she doesn't like garlic powder, onion stuff, and all that other stuff. And I think you'll be okay. To end a relationship based off of what people eat is ridiculous. And then as far as the heat thing goes, my boy Jesse married a Lao Thai woman, and he is a very white boy, Swedish ancestry, and she is obviously Thai. And so he can actually handle spice now, way crazy spicy. And I can't. I can handle spice, but not like he can. He's like straight up eating Thai peppers, like just to the dome. Like that's a whole nother level. But that's what happens when you get married to somebody that has a different ethnicity and has a different cooking style. So, hey, maybe it'll work out. If she's great, she's great. And that's just like one of those little sacrifices you have to make. I'm not saying sneak stuff into her food, but try to open her palate up a little bit. That's it. Have her try your food if you're at a restaurant. Maybe try to cook other things that she's tolerable of. That's all it takes. It's nothing crazy. But yeah, so moving on. Oh, this is going to be cute. This is a couple of teenagers. Should I tell my friend I like him? Oh. I, 14, male, developed a crush on a guy in my art class, 13, male. We kind of clicked immediately, venting about things that have happened to us, sharing other silly little stories and details about ourselves. He started walking home with me after school and once walked me all the way home. I live a lot farther from the school than he does, and constantly joking around to the point the teacher separated us, but we'd still talk by walking by each other. That's cute. This next semester came and our electives changed, but we ended up in the same math period and lunch period. He's recently started jokingly flirting with me. He flirts with 2 other friends as well, but it's more specifically directed towards me. Things like grabbing my thigh for a quick moment or describing me biting his thumb as hot as a joke. Why is his thumb in your mouth? And some other little things that are making me wonder if he just thinks we're good friends or if he might like me too. Like yelling at me to sit next to him, moving closer to me where he can, and just other little things that he wasn't doing before. We were recently sat next to each other in class, and I just feel like I'm on top of the world and I want to confess, but the idea of doing it makes me feel sick. I know I have a chance because he's said before that he's bi, but I have a habit of waiting months, or just until I may never see them again before confessing to anyone or just flat out doing it. But this is the fastest I've ever wanted to confess to anyone. It's freaking me out and I don't know what to do. Should I confess? Okay, first of all, kiddo, y'all are young. Trying to pin down your sexual identities at that young of an age is crazy to me. Just be 14, be 13, whatever. You're barely outside of 10. And to sit here and say, you've got a habit of something like that. I mean, you're 14, dude. If he's like that with a couple of other friends, I know me and my military brothers, like it gets to that too. And I've got brothers that I've been friends with for like 15 years. We jokingly flirt with each other and it's not that big of a deal. Matter of fact, one of my friend's wives, every time I come home to visit, she like overly gets like, "Are you sure you love me? You'll never leave me," blah, blah, blah. And so it's kind of funny. But on that note, I mean, like, let's get real here. You're very young. I wouldn't worry about it. Don't worry about confessing anything. I mean, you're going to get through well, in this case, you're in middle school, but once you get into high school and everything like that, you kind of have a little bit more of an understanding of who you are. So I'd hold off on that. And then on top of it too, after high school, and this is something that a lot of people don't tell the younger kids, is like after high school, you kind of stop talking to a lot of people from high school. I'm maybe in contact with like 3 people from high school, and it's not even on a regular basis. So go ahead, maybe let them know that you're kind of crushing on them, and possibly the worst thing that could happen is they just go, okay, I don't want to be friends with this person anymore. I've always been very blunt with like my gay friends, where it's just like, look, man, I'm straight, you're gay, that's fine. Just don't just respect my boundaries. And the friends that I have had that are gay that didn't respect those boundaries, I cut them off and I'm just not friends with them anymore. The gay friends that I do have that respect the boundaries, we're still friends. So it's just one of those things, you got to respect the boundaries. So if he sets a boundary like, I don't like you like that, we're just friends, then, respect those boundaries. So that's all it really comes down to, just be yourself, kiddo, and have a good friendship with this person. And at the same time, it could turn into something, it could not turn into something, but you can't be upset about it. Is it too late to send a "Hey girly" text 6 months later? I don't know. This summer, I, female 22, hooked up twice with one of my guy friends from high school. After the second time we hooked up, I found out he had been recently seeing a different girl, so I immediately called him and confronted him. He said that they hadn't been together long, but didn't want someone else to tell her because he wanted to be able to talk to her. I dropped him as a friend and have been no contact with him since. And a couple months later, I moved. Is this like a "Hey girly, I fucked your man" type situation? However, yesterday, one of my other high school friends sent me a screenshot of his Instagram story with him celebrating his 1 year anniversary with the girl. Oh, shit, we got some tea. That means that when we hooked up over the summer, they had already been together for at least 6 months. I do not know if he told her. My guess is that he didn't. But now I do not know if I should message his girlfriend, as we hooked up 6 months ago. Help. Edit. We are from a small town where most people know each other. I told a few of my friends when we hooked up, but other than that, no one else knows. Everybody else knows. If you're from a small town, everybody else knows. You told your couple of friends or whatever like that. They told people, they told people, they told people. That's how small towns work. Come on. We all know that. Look, the "Hey girly" thing, no, I wouldn't. This is how I look at it. That relationship is really none of your business. How they go about their relationship is really none of their business. And let's be real here. People who cheat normally cheat more than once, and eventually it catches up to them. Let karma do the work here. You know what I'm saying? Don't jump in there and try to be like, girl, I'm just trying to save you from this guy. He cheated on you, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. She's probably not going to like you, especially since it was 6 months later and you already knew he was in a relationship. But also at the same time, him saying what he say, and he said that they hadn't been together long, but don't want someone else to tell her because blah, blah, blah. Hey, probably true. People your age, and this is something that I've always found weird. People in your age group go through this talking phase that is like forever long, and it lasts 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever. I've heard of people talking for a year, and it's like, are you guys together or not? You know what I mean? Whereas like in my time, there was the talking phase was the night y'all met, and then you guys were either dating or not. And maybe you guys flirted back and forth, and somebody was seeing multiple people and somebody wasn't, whatever it was. But most of the time, there wasn't this months long talking phase like there is in your generation. Um, I'll tell you the same thing I've told somebody else is you can't be mad at somebody if you're just in that phase, if you're not actually dating, right? So in this case, he may have told her and been like, yeah, but we weren't actually in a relationship at the time, per se. So you sending her, hey, girly, she might text you back and be like, yeah, I know. We were just talking. And then you look like an asshole. Or you send the hey girly, she gets mad at you, you go back into your small town, end up getting jumped by somebody or whatever, because small towns are small towns, and it makes everybody look bad, specifically you, for sleeping with a guy that was in a relationship at the time. It makes him look bad and labeled as a cheater in the small town. It just looks bad on everybody. I would say just let it play out, mind your business, and leave it alone. It's something that happened. You didn't know. It's not like you were like, oh, he's in a relationship, I'm going to go like let him crack or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're not a home wrecker. You would definitely be a home wrecker if you knew he was in a relationship and you still like went with it. But you're not. You didn't know. You found out later. So just let it be what it is. And, cheaters, they always get found out. They never don't get found out. They always get found out. I don't know if I'm avoiding a decision or just not ready to make it. Ooh, this should be a good one. I've been stuck in my head about something for weeks and it's starting to mess with me. There's a choice I know I have to make soon. Nothing dramatic, but something that would definitely change my routine and possibly my stress level either way. Staying where I am feels safe but stagnant. Changing things feels exciting but risky. I keep going back and forth so much that I haven't actually done anything. Now, see, just right here, I'm like, is this like a business opportunity? Is this like a relationship thing? Where are we going with this? What made me notice how bad it's gotten was last night. I was sitting on the couch playing on my phone, scrolling for way longer than I meant to, and I realized I was doing it just to avoid thinking. Hey, that's fine, dude. The moment I put my phone down, my brain immediately went back to the same question and what ifs. Everyone around me keeps saying things like you'll know when it's time or just trust your gut. I mean, kind of true. The problem is my gut feels confused, not confident. Some days I feel like to move forward. Other days I convince myself it would be stupid to change anything when things are technically fine. I'm worried that by waiting for clarity, I'm actually just choosing the default option out of fear. Okay. But I'm also scared of pushing myself into something I'll regret just because I'm impatient. Again, like what is this? Is this like a job thing? Is this a relationship thing? How do you tell the difference between needing more time and just avoiding discomfort? At what point does waiting stop being thoughtful and start being self-sabotage? I feel stuck and I don't know what the right next step is. Okay. Oh, let's unpack this. Let me drink some coffee first because this could be so many different things. One of the comments says to not decide is to decide. I guess. Okay, so because this is so wildly, incredibly vague, and I have literally no other information to go off of except for this, and we go into this stuff blind. I look at it like this. Job. Let's start there. If this is about a job and this person is working a career that they're just not happy in, maybe the alternative is getting another job and they got the job offer, whatever it is, and it's a little bit of a risk, might be a pay cut, whatever. That would increase your stress for sure. I would say you have to weigh the pros and the cons. And if you know you're going to be more stressed out, or at least on the same level, then it's probably not that big of a deal. But if you think you'll be a bit happier at the other job for the little bit of a cut in pay, then I'd say go for that and just tighten your belt a little bit. Now, if this is relationship wise, if you're talking about you're in a relationship with somebody and you want to leave, sitting there and staying in the relationship because you don't want to be uncomfortable and you're afraid of what's going to happen is actually more damaging to you than actually getting out there, being single, and being happy. Now, I am never one to encourage people breaking up. I love seeing good working relationships. But if it's not working out and it's not good for you mentally, then it's probably time to get out of it. Of course, you have that fear of the just not knowing, right? Which, figure it out. That's what it comes down to. Now, if this is it's still under the relationship side of it. Now, if this is you're in a relationship and somebody new has entered the picture and you're thinking about leaving your current relationship to start a new relationship, that's risky. Yeah, for sure. Honestly, you shouldn't be talking to anybody on a romantic level when you're already in a relationship. You should be single if you're going to be doing that. Don't be doing that. It's called emotionally cheating. And I've always thought that that's not like some new thing that's come out or anything like that. That's literally like if you're talking to somebody that is not your partner about your relationship stuff, that's emotionally cheating. You need to be talking to your partner about your relationship stuff that is causing problems so that you guys can figure it out together. It's called a team effort. It's not just a single person. Again, being as vague as this is, it could even be as light as starting a new business. Now, I will say this. If you are going to start your new business or anything, content creation, maybe being a photographer or whatever, you don't quit your job and then go at it hardcore. It doesn't happen instantly. I have another channel I'm working on that is way different than this, by the way. And that has seen a big push, but even being consistent in the uploads where it was once a week and everything like that, the stress is my scripts need to be on point. I need to make sure my editing is good. And I have to be consistent every week, like clockwork. So you got to do that while you have a job. You can't sit there and just jump into it full time because content creation isn't instant. It takes time, consistency, and discipline. Obviously, Duke's Handbook is a not new, I guess. I started this years ago and then stopped after like 50 something videos just because I wasn't seeing any improvement, any push out. I also wasn't staying consistent. Alcohol had a hold on my life for a hot minute. But now that I'm sober and I'm coming into this all sober and everything like that, I'm able to sit down, edit, record, create scripts, research, this, that, because I have all this time now. And I've decided to push that into content editing. But I will say, if you're going to do it, yeah, like keep your job, but you're going to have to grind it out and do it also on the side. I don't know where you're going with this. And that's the problem. I don't know where you're going with this because you were so incredibly vague. I need some information. And matter of fact, I'm going to comment on this one. Like, all right. And you know what? You'll probably never see this episode, but I will respond to it in here if you ever respond to that comment. Anyway, the point of the matter here is don't jump into stuff without absolutely knowing where you're going to go with it. And you know, because it's so vague, there's just so many different things that you could be talking about. And I mean, like, honestly, you got to put more information than that. You know, is it relationship? Is it job? Is it hobby to turn into career? Is it starting a small business? You know, is it going back to school? You got to have more information in there. I can be very supportive of a couple of things, and then I could be very not supportive of other things. I'm very supportive of you starting a business, going back to school, and all that other stuff. But I'm not supportive of you doing that thing without having the backup, or, you know, while quitting your job to pursue something that is not something that is instantly going to generate income. So you've got to set yourself up for success in that, right? If you're going to start your own business, make sure that you're generating income before you quit your job. My boy, one of my boys from college, he has his own business. It's a consulting firm, and he works his job. So he consults and works his job. Now he makes good money on his consulting. He makes people's yearly salaries doing his consulting. But because it's not very level, he is not quitting his job for it. So he still gets his salary from his job, but he also makes his money from his consulting. So there's that. It's just like that. I need more information. And then you also have to weigh the pros and cons of everything. And, you know, anyway, please give me more information. With that, yeah, I'll talk to you later. Much love.